All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Wall Street Rundown. I'm your co-host Billy. I got Wale with me. What's good, Wale?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. So, just to give you guys a quick market recap, on July 16th, 2025, the Dow Jones climbed about 0.5% to reach 44,254 and 78 cents, while S&P added 0.3%, closing at 6,263.70. And Nasdaq also rose by 0.3% to 20,730 and 49. This is like the third straight record close back to back to back. I mean, that's what we're gonna three-peat. We did a three-peat on this one. But we saw like the market kind of like move a lot higher, right? We talked about this a little bit last week also. Like the market's moving higher. There's not like we don't know what the catalyst is gonna be for it to actually drop down a little bit. But if you look at the stocks too, like it looks like around midday, we saw some dip. If you look at IWM and SPY and all this stuff, we show kind of like a little bit of pullback. And that happened because President Trump was talking about the possibility of firing chairs Jerome Powell, which is crazy, man. Like you appointed the guy like 8 years ago, and now you're talking about he's a scam and he's a fraud and he's come on, my man. Like,
So this is
stop.
it. So this is the thing that baffles me is the fact that the market had such a strong reaction to something that can't even happen.
It has nothing to do,
So
like, it's just
so
crazy.
which is so everyone knows that the Fed and the in Congress are supposed to be completely separate, right?
Yep.
The president can't just remove the Fed president because he wants to. There has to be
Mm-hmm.
probable cause, like
Mm-hmm.
fraud or he's done something misconduct or something like that. It can't be about personal opinion.
Right, right.
So when the market took that big of a dip on that headline, and the fact that a senior White House official even made that claim and the news ran with it, when I tell you I bought the dip,
Yeah.
I told everybody in my trading group, I was like, this is a non-issue.
Yeah.
So when I tell you I bought the dip, I just sat there and laughed
Yeah,
because
it was overreaction. That was
it's,
definitely
it's over
overreaction.
it's over it's overreaction.
Yep. Yep.
Everyone know, I mean, you should know that the president cannot fire a Fed chair
Yep. Yep.
because he
He
wants to.
he did mention that there's an investigation going on. I don't know what they're gonna find because Jerome has been very open with all the stuff that the Fed does. It's like
I
I don't see anything there. I think it was
I
just like it's a tactic.
Yeah, I think it's just him trying to throw mud on the wall and see what
Right.
sticks.
Right.
And he even backtracked when they showed him on CNBC. He was like, "Yeah, we're not going to do anything, blah blah blah." And he was just whole backtracking. The fact that he mentioned that he doesn't even know how Powell got there, and the fact that he was the one that put him in position, that's
Bro,
when I
that was
just
epic.
that's when I knew the whole thing was just a mess.
I was
And
like,
if
did
you
you forget? Like, did he forget? I was
I mean,
like,
there is
dude,
video footage of you appointing Powell as Fed chair. Like, I mean, I don't understand what's going on. So,
yeah.
yeah, if you were a trader and you had common sense and you saw that dip, you probably made a good amount of
Yep.
money today
Yep.
because
Yep.
that was crazy.
Yep. But I mean, like this is a lot of drama, man. I mean, the whole thing with Jerome Powell kind of spooked the market a little bit, like he said, things kind of dropped off. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what exactly they find and all that stuff. But I was like he says, like this is like a non-factor in
No,
why the market dropped. You know what I mean?
no,
So it just makes no sense.
makes no sense. And the thing that's so funny to me is it's obvious President Trump knows what type of reactions markets will get based on what he
Oh,
says.
oh yeah,
He
absolutely.
he's fully aware. He's fully
Hmm.
aware. So a lot of
Hmm.
this might even be intentional.
Yep,
Who knows? But I don't think the
absolutely.
SEC can come after him because I don't think he publicly trades. But again, to me, I really feel like the motive and the thing I don't understand is I really don't understand. I don't think that he understands how the Fed does not control the long end of the yield curve, right? So when he was talking about people can't buy houses, mortgages, and all that stuff, The Fed doesn't
Who's
control the
who's
10.
it? Who's it talking about?
Yeah, the Fed doesn't control the 10 and the 30 year. That's supply and demand and based on economic growth. The short end of the curve is where the Fed has the most influence. So you can't sit here and say that, people can't buy homes and stuff because of what the Fed is doing. Because remember what happened when the Fed cut rates in September last year?
Mm.
Long end rates went up.
Yep.
Long rates went up after the Fed made two cuts. So you can't sit here and say that what he's doing is detrimental to the markets.
Right.
He has to understand that we have not seen inflation data come through based on your tariffs. We have to be patient because if we jump the gun and then inflation shows up, we're going to lose a lot of credibility. And like I said, he already walked that way back with the whole transitory thing. He's
Right.
not doing it again. He's going to stick to his guns. And I don't blame him for that. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with, as we start to get inflation data, more inflation data than we got this week.
Yeah, Powell ain't trying to mess his legacy, man. He's not trying to mess his legacy. So he's gonna do whatever he has to do to make sure he get this thing right. Because guess what? He's gonna be blamed if things go south. He's
Yep.
already being blamed. He's already
Yep.
being called that he's a what the thing is, he's like always late pal or something like that. It's
Hmm.
like he's already being blamed for it. So whether he make a decision to cut right now or not make it, it's still gonna come and fall back on him. So he is the
Correct.
fallback guy. If this market goes sideways, he is the fallback guy.
Yep.
100%. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. So,
So, but let's move on, man. Let's talk about the PPI and the CPI. So let's talk a little bit about PPI first. PPI stands for Producer Price Index. So the June 2025 reported in July. So month over month is plus 0.1% below expectations, right? The core PPI, excluding food and energy, right? We don't include food and energy in the core PPI. It was plus 0.1%. Year over year is plus 2.3%. So it's a little softer than we expected. You know what I mean?
correct.
So give me your understanding of those numbers and see exactly what we're talking about.
So the PPI numbers came in relatively good today. Market reacted positively with those numbers. And anybody doesn't know what PPI means, basically it's just the cost of what producers are paying for their goods before they sell it to customers.
Right.
So the PPI numbers came in good. No scares there, as far as any high jumps month over month or year over year. So that's good. Now, the CPI numbers on the other end, I think yesterday's CPI numbers, the year over year came in a little bit hotter than people expected, which is kind
Yep.
of why the market wasn't necessarily able to hold its gains.
Yeah.
But the PPI came in good. So, like I said, you're getting mixed signals in that department.
Right.
So, but at least for now, to me, tariffs have not had any meaningful impact on the inflation data so far.
Right.
I think
Right.
that's a very, very good thing. And as Powell and the Fed committee has said, they're going to look at, trends. They're not going to just look at 1 or 2 months worth of data. They want to look at trends and
The
where
whole
things are
thing. Yeah.
trending. So we get our Fed meeting at the end of this month on the 30th. So we'll see how the Fed responds to that.
I mean, again, looking at CPI, it was pretty much flat. You
Hmm.
know, the core CPI on the other hand was plus 2.2%. Year over year was plus 3.3%. Is down from 3.3% in May. So, a little bit down. Some of those key drivers are like, falling energy prices and moderate housing costs. Shelter remains sticky but shows sign of a plateauing. And then service inflation is slowing, which is key to the Fed's decision. So it's like we do see some slowing down in some of those numbers and stuff. So again, are we out of the woods yet? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah, I can't sit here and say that we are not going to see inflation, right?
Mhm.
I still think that we could, but I will say that it may not be that bad.
Yep.
So at least again, so far we haven't seen anything. Um, Now everyone says a lot of economists and things like that. It takes time for tariff increases to flow through the entire system. Like it takes time. Another thing that we also have to keep in mind too is a lot of producers, they front loaded their goods in the first half of this year.
Yep. Yep.
So they probably still have a lot of inventory that they're
Yep.
selling and
Absolutely.
may not have been buying new inventory at these new rates. So that is another thing that people have to keep in mind is if let's just say I'm a t-shirt maker, right? And let's just say that the tariffs were about to hit in April and I know it's coming. If I front loaded all the t-shirts that I needed for the next, let's just say 1 or 2 years in the first quarter, chances are I'm not spending money in April. I'm not spending money in
Absolutely.
May. I'm not spending money in June, right? Because I still have inventory that I can still use.
Yep.
So that is something people have to keep in mind when they're looking at the grand scheme of things when they're saying, oh, there's no inflation. Well, maybe producers aren't spending as much money as they were in the first quarter because everything
Absolutely.
got front loaded. So
Absolutely.
until we start getting past further and further away from first quarter, we may not see anything significant. So
Yep. Yep.
and I think the Fed knows that too. So
Yeah.
they want to be very careful because again, it will be more detrimental to cut rates and raise rates than to just hold rates and then be more certain to cut later. So I think that that's how they're playing it right now.
I mean, I think I know that a lot of businesses front loaded. Like I
Oh
really,
yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah,
they
for
definitely
sure.
did. Because there's no way as a business person, you as a business owner, you're thinking there like most of my product comes from abroad. I'm
Correct,
gonna wait to see the decision on the tariffs. Like, no, I'm gonna start loading up stuff right now, buying for
correct.
cheap before those stuff start going up. You know what I mean?
Especially if you're someone who buys non-perishable goods,
Right.
things that don't perish, things that you can hold for months and months and months in a warehouse, right? So if
Absolutely.
you're smart, you're definitely going to front load all of those expenses while you can still get things cheap. So,
Yep. All right. Well, moving on to some of the earnings, man. We see the banks. Banks have reported earnings. We see JP Morgan Chase reported earnings, Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, PNC. I mean, overall, I think the sector is doing good. Like I'm looking at all these numbers. Everything is up for the Q2 numbers. Like everything looks great. So it looks like the banks are taking advantage of those volatility in the market and they just leveraging the heck out of everything. You know what I mean? And I know we talked a little bit about Jamie Dimon last week. I know Jamie was out here buying Bitcoin and buying everything else when he was trying to scare the market. I 100% knows. You know, he was out here scaring people. Things are horrible. Trump is horrible. The policy, the inflation, the tariffs, and then all of a sudden he's on the other side. And the way I'll tell you guys is like, look at what Chase is doing right now. JP Morgan Chase is doing so good in terms of like their numbers. Do you think Jamie was selling when he was telling us that things was going to shit? Like, I don't think he was selling. He was actually buying. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't
So
surprise, wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. But yeah, most of the numbers, I think Goldman Sachs made the most trading
yep.
revenue on record on Wall
Trading.
Street.
Trading.
So if anybody isn't familiar with what those big banks do, a lot of them, they are the middlemen that transact or broker deals between buyers and sellers in the securities market. They either charge a commission or they take money on the spread, right?
Yep.
So a lot of money was moving in April. A lot of money was moving in April from on the downside, and a lot of money was moving in April on the upside. So anytime there's high volatility in the market, a lot of these brokerage firms, man, they can make a killing. And Goldman Sachs, man, they must have really, really,
Mm,
really cleaned up because a lot of like institutions, right? They're using the big banks to move money around, like they're not doing it
mm-hmm,
themselves. So
mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised. We caught a 4% move, almost a 4% move yesterday in Citibank, because Citibank took a really big move after their earnings report. And I think
Yep.
remember we were talking about Citibank last year,
Last.
and I think it was trading around like 70 something.
Yep.
We
Yep.
did I didn't make a move on it.
Yep.
That's another missed one.
Bro, don't remind me. Boeing is still killing my heart. we were talking about Boeing. It was below. It was under $200. And look at Boeing is right now. I mean, I feel like with Boeing still have room to grow, but it's like if we would
Yeah.
have caught it, that would have been a crazy move from last year.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
don't know why I didn't buy Leaps, man.
those leaps would have been printing right now. It would be at least 100%, at least
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I think, yeah, we were talking about Citibank. I think Citibank might have been around 50.
Yeah,
So last August, August 5th, Citibank was trading around 55, $53 a share.
crazy
It
dude.
just hit 91. And
But
then,
to be fair, you did say it. Like banks are gonna do good.
yeah,
You know.
I did say tariff. I said banks are typically immune to tariff
Yep.
threats.
Yep.
And that's probably one sector when we had that big drop in April from Liberation Day. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure financials and software were probably two of the best sectors that took that like pretty much just went parabolic
Yep. Yep.
after that. So, but yeah, I think banks have set the tones for earnings. Like the only mishap I saw with one of the banks was Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo had some
Yep.
funny numbers in there, but Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all of those names pretty much no issues. I think BlackRock dropped after they reported, but then
Mhm.
they rebounded today about almost 4%.
Yep. Yep.
So they might gap fill that gap from yesterday's drop.
Man, I tell you. But I think overall, like again, we keep going back to like when the market is dipping and all this stuff, please be smart about it because that's when a lot of investors actually are buying instead of selling, right? So again, you don't want to deploy everything kind of like what Wale always say, don't deploy everything all at the same time. But whenever you see those dips, deploy a little bit, a little bit, a little bit until we start seeing some rebounds and stuff. As you guys can see, we are back and we blew past all the drops that we had this year. I mean, everything kind of look up on the up right now. So again, just be a smart trader, a smart investor overall to be able to catch those moves to the upside.
Yeah. And let me actually give you some insight on this real quick because since we're on that topic, give me one quick second. I gotta log into my account. So remember when the market was dropping and we were telling people, we said, hey, this is probably a time where you want to get a little bit more aggressive with your investing strategy, right? When the market is going down. So year to date, right, we're at all-time highs. I think S&P, where's the S&P 500? All right, year to date, S&P, actually, no, let me look at the last 3 months. So SPY is up 17.19% in the last 3 months because that's probably where when we kind of hit the bottom.
Yep.
QQQ is up 23.89% in the last 3 months.
Yep.
I have an account that has all mutual funds. Again, all mutual funds, no stocks, and I'm paying fees on these mutual funds.
Mm-hmm.
My 3 month performance is 33%.
Okay.
33%
Three
after
months.
fees. Why? Because when we had those drops, the money that I was putting in there every month, I just increased it, started buying more for less,
Mm-hmm.
more for less, more for less. So basically, as I was accumulating more shares and they started to come back, I just was able to ride that wave. So, and this is a mutual fund account.
Yep.
There's no trading. There's no buying and selling on a day-to-day basis. This is a mutual fund account, a boring mutual fund account. So to be beating the tech ETF, I mean the tech ETF, QQQ, by well over 100 basis points
Yeah.
in the same time frame.
Yeah.
This is why I say anytime you see really big catastrophic dips in the market, be an aggressive buyer.
Be a buyer.
Because when that comeback comes back, you're gonna be beating the market, right? So whether it's your
Absolutely.
401k, your 529 account, whatever you're putting money in on a regular basis, you beef that up so that you can ride that wave back. So I just want to throw that out there because again, it's not a complicated like theory or philosophy. It's just knowing when to be aggressive and then maybe knowing when to not be so aggressive. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
And I mean, it takes a little bit of patience. It takes a little bit of understanding how the market rotation and all that stuff works. Is like you still have to know how the market works, right? You can't just be blindly buying it and stuff. So
correct.
because you
Exactly.
could be buying the wrong ETF. You could be investing in the wrong sector.
Correct.
So
Exactly.
again, just
Yeah.
knowing where your money should be deployed to also is very, very important.
And if you're the type of person who gets overwhelmed with like trying to pick individual stock positions, I mean, there's plenty of ETFs out there that just are just broad market ETFs.
Yep.
SPY is one, which is a pretty good one, but there's cheaper ones out there. Like,
Mhm.
Vanguard has some out there. I think BlackRock has one, IVV,
Yep.
that is the same thing as SPY, but it's cheaper.
Mm.
Instead of paying 8 basis points, you're paying 3 basis points. So you're saving 5 basis points over the long term, which to me will add up over the course of time. So, if you don't have to make the process hard, you don't have to buy individual stocks. And if you're like, oh, I don't know what to buy, I don't know what to do, IVV is one, QQQ is one, VOO are three really cheap funds that you can just buy and throw money at and just not have to do anything and let them do it for you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So,
So there's a lot to do. I mean, again, opportunity is always going to present itself in the market. Like that's one thing I always tell people. Like, if you miss it, learn from it, but opportunities always come through, right?
oh yeah,
And you always got to remember, like, you're gonna miss 100% of shots you don't take. So when those opportunities happen, you gotta participate. If you don't participate, guess what? You're gonna miss 100%. You know what I mean? If you're already in it, it's better than not to be in it at all. And then the market reverses, goes up, and then you're like, oh shoot, I should have got in. You know what I mean? So just make sure you're in the game so you can reap some of those benefits.
exactly. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. But a lot of talks about tariffs today too. So 19% tariffs on Indonesian imports, 10% tariffs on African and Caribbean countries. I mean, Trump is out here just passing tariffs like hotcakes. You know what I mean? He's actually just creating letters and just sending it to people. Um, and it's just like, we'll see. We'll see what the impact of those. It's still kind of frustrated because it's like, as a trader, you want to know, as an investor, you want to know how those actually going to affect us long term. But it's like it's kind of hard to gauge right now
Mhm.
how is that going to affect us and stuff. So again, one of those things that we're still dealing with.
I think the one thing that the market may also start to realize, and what we've realized so far with the whole Trump tariff thing, is the bark is a lot louder than the bite,
Yep.
right? So all of these tariffs that are supposed to go into effect August 1st, right? I guess the objective is to get these countries to come to the table and bring down that number before the August 1st kicks in.
Yeah.
Because even though we've kind of seen some pullbacks and some gyrations with these tariffs getting announced, we haven't seen anything like crazy. Just been, slight pullbacks back
Yeah.
to new highs,
Yeah.
slight pullbacks back to new highs.
Yep.
So I think the market is starting to see that again, the bark of the tariff is way, 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 way less than the bite. So,
Yep. Yep.
and as long as the market keeps seeing that, I mean, and some of these countries are not big trade partners anyway, like not lots of goods and things flow through those countries. So, the big ones are the Chinas, the Mexicos, the EU, and I guess you can throw Japan in there as well. So
Yeah.
those are the ones that really, really matter.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Nvidia, man. I mean, Nvidia has been crushing the market. Like it's just been, go look at the Nvidia chart, y'all, from a month ago to now. I mean, that thing has been moving like crazy. But part of that impact is the Nvidia selling the H20 AI chips to China, right? So if you guys remember back, well, I don't know, it was like a few months ago, the Trump administration kind of put a restriction on it, right? In April, they put a restriction on Nvidia to not sell their chip to China. But then they were able to reverse that and gave Nvidia the ability to be able to now export some of those licenses for H20 to Chinese companies and stuff. Now, is there strategic reasoning for this? I don't know. China has a lot of AI companies. If you think about like, what is it? Is it Hawaii or
Huawei.
Huawei?
Yeah,
Huawei
Huawei.
kind of have a small monopoly in China right now. So if NVIDIA, as an American company, is prevented from penetrating that market, guess what? We're going to be locked completely from the Chinese market. So I think this is a political move as much as it is a an economic move too. So again, it's just crazy how like those things happen, right? And if you talk about investing, I was looking at some of those other social media channels that I was following. A lot of politicians were buying Nvidia about a month ago.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that,
A
right?
lot of them were buying it. Like I'm talking about like 5 million, 2 million, 3 million. Like they're all buying those things up like crazy. It's like
Yeah, they knew.
I'm like they knew.
They knew what was up. They knew Jensen Wong was gonna visit the White House, talk to Trump, and was able to get him to,
It's crazy.
I mean, those are the biggest crooks in America, man. I mean,
I'm telling you, man.
if you, I mean, based on my experience as an advisor, man, you buy one option contract or one stock and make $50 without pre-approval. That can cost you everything.
Yeah, yeah,
That can cost you everything.
yeah. Your license, your everything.
Which is absolutely diabolical. But if you're a politician and you sit on the committee of people who make decisions, if you're privy to inside information, you are free to trade on that
You're
if you
free to
want
trade on
to.
it. You're free to trade on it.
Only in America.
Yeah. But
Crazy.
what I was saying also is like it gives you an insight into politics, right?
Oh
The
yeah.
only color that matters in politics, I'm gonna keep telling you, the only color is green. Like nobody cares if you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever you want to call, whatever race that you think you are. Politicians most of the time don't care. If they can make money off of it, they'll hate you one day and love you the next day because they're able to make money out of you. So just keep that in your mind. Like politics moves because money moves. And if you ever want to follow where things are going, just follow the money. Just see where the money is going. You will know exactly, where
E-
things are.
Elon found out the hard way.
Oh my God. Speaking of Elon, he's still going off at uh President Trump about the whole Epstein file and all these different things. Now, is it justified? We'll say yes, because most of the Republicans that ran during this election season, they were all talking about the Epstein file and they're gonna release it, they're gonna release it, they're gonna release it. But as you guys can see, it's not being released because they say there's nothing there to be released. I was like, really? Really?
Which
You guys ran
which
on that and say you guys gonna release it. And that was it. So there's a lot of big divisions happening right now. And now Elon is finding himself again in the midst of all of that. And then how is that gonna impact Tesla? I don't know, because Tesla actually gonna did a good the past couple of weeks, Tesla has actually been moving up, but
I'm
I don't
actually
know how long is that going to sustain.
yeah.
That he's getting himself back involved in politics, and I'm pretty sure the shareholders are not happy. They're just like, dude, just keep your mouth shut. Twitter fingers need to stop tweeting. Just keep it away.
I'm
But
I'm I'm actually surprised with somebody with so many businesses and who seems spread so thin that he spends so much time on Twitter. I'm like, bro, do you sleep?
I don't think he sleeps. This man
Like,
is on drugs 24/7. I don't think
do
he
you
sleeps.
sleep at all?
I don't think he sleeps.
So,
But again, if you look at Tesla, Tesla's still way, way below its all-time high of 488. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
there might be opportunities there. It's still in Tesla, but you have to like ride this crazy wave that with Elon. Like,
So,
one day is up, the next day is down. One day is up, the next day is down. You know what I mean? So
if you want to talk about opportunity, let me read you this
yeah.
number. I saw December 2027 Tesla calls. We're talking about 1.3 million,
Mm-hmm.
1.5 million, 1.3 million orders that came in today. Tell me what strike they bought.
What?
Just take a guess.
400.
Four? Try seven.
700. I'm telling you, man. There's mark this. What is it? July 16th. Mark this. Tesla is gonna make a comeback. Like I promise you, it's gonna make a comeback. The thing is, the comeback will have to be pertained to Trump and Elon getting along fine. Like there has to be some type of reconciliation. There has to be some type of like, hey, water under the bridge. We're done. We're good. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's gonna cause the stock to because the stock was moving. I think we hit like 367, and then we just from there just like all this
Yeah.
him involving with the politics and talking against Trump and all the stuff. We just start seeing some drops. So
Yeah.
I
I'm
actually
actually
won't be surprised if we hit like all-time high before the end of the year. Like I wouldn't be surprised. If you surpass that, then perfect. But
yeah,
I
I'm
think
actually in
Tesla still has a lot of opportunities.
yeah, I'm in some Tesla calls I'm swinging into tomorrow. So I'm
There
a,
you go.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we see a good move. But yeah, we saw, so if you're looking, if I want to do the math on this, this is roughly, yeah, $4.1 million that went into December 17th,
Mhm.
2027, Tesla 700 calls.
That's a lot of money.
So that's not something to sniff at.
Yeah.
And when you see $1 million orders, again, that's a signal that it's probably institutional money.
Yep. Yep. And
That's
somebody
it.
who really, really believe in that
Somebody
position
who
too.
believes in Tesla. Yep.
Yep.
Somebody believes in Tesla. And typically, institutions don't kind of throw that kind of money
Right.
out there for now. Sometimes they do. Like I said, there's a QQQ $400 put that is sitting
Still
out
sitting
there,
out there.
but we don't know if it's a hedge or not. So because this is the thing I will say, when you see $1 million bets on like ETFs, very liquid ETFs, those can be hedges because typically institutions will hold tons and tons of like of money in those positions. Like,
Right.
and I'm not talking about like 2, 4, 5 million. I'm talking about like 40, 50, $60 million positions in like SPY,
Right. Right.
QQQ.
Right.
So $1 million position to hedge isn't really like that much money.
It's not a lot of money for them. No.
It's not a lot of money for them if the position is
Yeah.
big. But the thing is, you never know if it's a hedge or not. That's the thing.
Yep.
You can only speculate.
I mean, the way QQQ closed today, I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
QQQ has really been moving, and I don't like the fact that it did lose a lot of momentum today, and it lost a lot of
Yeah.
momentum
It,
yesterday.
it closed almost at even.
Yeah.
So
And another thing you have to that we have to mention that has kind of spooked the market a little bit. If we look at the 30 year is now above 5%.
yeah,
So we
another
saw
one.
we saw bond yields start to move higher. Anytime you see bond yields move high, like the 30-year move over 5%, it should get your attention. You should get your attention. So why it made that move, I can't put my finger on it just yet. But I always say this: look at the bond market because you're going to find things in there that you will not see in the stock market. The bond market is a better future indicator of what could happen.
Right.
So, yeah, keep that little nugget and tidbit um, under your under your belt. And I will also just give you something to be very mindful of is just looking at the setup of the VIX. The VIX is not nothing about the VIX tells me that I would be bearish on the VIX, right?
Mhm.
Um, I've been watching it today. We almost got to 20 today until the market realized that
Yeah.
the
Was
whole Powell about to get fired thing was a hoax. But if we retest this 1630, 1635 area on the VIX and find support, that would make me a tad bit nervous, just a
yeah.
tad bit.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that area right now. If we revisit that and we find support, I would be cautious about the VIX. I would be extremely cautious just to hear what the Fed will have to say at the next meeting. So, I am not going to sit here and say that we are completely out of the woods just yet with anything. So
Yeah. Yeah, the VIX is very interesting right now. Like
yeah. Hmm.
we have a lot of imbalances that we need to cover
Yep.
a lot.
Yep. I see the same thing you said. Because if you
So
look at what happened with today's move, we basically almost filled that gap from the
yep,
623
we
drop,
we wicked through it and came
went
right
through
back
it,
down. Yeah.
came right back down. But we didn't breach any substantial levels of support, which is why
Yep.
I'm saying that the VIX could still reverse.
Yep. Yep.
So just want to put that out there. Make sure
Something to
that you
keep an
guys are
eye
watching
on.
that. Yep, something to keep your eye on.
All right. Well, let's move on to the dollar, man. It looks like the dollar is kind of like um it dropped. Did it drop today? Yeah, I mean the dollar dropped about 0.6% July 16th after a report surfaced that Trump considered ousting Fed Chair Powell. So it looks like we got a quick reversal on today. But overall, I think that the dollar was doing good. Let me see where we are right now. Uh,
So if we look at the dollar from a long-term trend, I'm looking at the DXY futures.
yeah,
The dollar has made substantial moves lower, very significant.
it's
And
like
if
10%. Yeah.
I'm looking at the year to date, let me go back. Let me go back about a year. So the dollar index was trading at 110.176. This was back in January of this year, actually. The
Mm,
dollar was moving higher. And then we have had one, two, three, pretty much 4 consecutive months of the dollar dropping.
yep.
This is the first month where we've actually seen the dollar move higher. I don't know if you have a chance, but if you ever go online and go look at there's a Bank of America report that came out. They're saying that they're getting a little bit nervous about dollar weakness, about what that can do to the global economy.
Yep.
That if the dollar loses its stability, not necessarily stability, but it's the global currency, right? It's like the standard. If it
Mhm.
loses that luster, then we could see some trouble. Um, Now, they came out and said that, but they still have they didn't change their price targets for end of year S&P 500. So
Nope.
which one's going to be true? If you think dollar weakness is going to cause a pullback, then you decrease your
Lower it.
long-term
Yeah.
projections for
Yeah.
for the S&P. They haven't done it yet. Maybe they will. I don't know. But I'm hearing a lot of people getting nervous about how the dollar has been trading over the last couple of months. We'll see if that turns into anything. So, I mean, it's good for U.S. exports, right? Because things are cheaper to other countries
Yep.
to buy from the U.S. if the dollar
Yep.
is losing value. So,
Yep.
that's if you're a foreign country and you're exporting from the U.S., that's not a bad thing, especially if you're using the currency like the pound or the euro, which is stronger, have more value than the dollar.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I mean,
but
we
people,
they were talking even of like the city, the Ghanaian city is actually it's growing a lot faster than the dollar
mm,
overall. So another emerging market to look at too. Also, so yeah,
yeah, but people keep saying that there's potential that the dollar will get um, removed as the world currency because of all of the debt that the
I don't
U.S.
see
has. I don't see it either.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it. But
If you travel all over this world, I do not see the dollar being removed. Like, I mean, every country that I travel to, the dollar is being taken. Like, I have never had anybody say, like, no, we don't take dollars. They might say that about their own currency in their own country, but nobody, you take $10, $20, you give it somebody, nobody's saying no to it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's going to be a realistic thing that is to kind of like remove the dollar as a global currency. I mean, we saw the bloc try to do that. We saw, the European Union try to do that, all that stuff. But it's like I don't think so. In my opinion, there's just too many people invested in the dollar and wanting to make sure it stays that way that they are gonna do whatever they can to protect their investment by making sure the dollar stays that way. You know what I mean?
And to
So
me, I really feel like to uproot the entire global economy from one
that's
currency,
chaos. That's
that
chaos.
will cause that will cause pullbacks that we may have never seen in our lifetime.
Yep. That would be chaos.
Like
America, as we know it, will collapse if that
a
happens.
a whole global reset, that would be wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, man.
it's a story that just continues to keep getting you know, traction. You keep hearing about it, you keep hearing about it. So
Yeah.
like,
It'll be interesting to see, man. We'll see. We'll see how this first year of the administration ends, and then we'll see how things are when we actually see the actual numbers for tariffs, how inflation is going to be affected, if we're going to get it right, rate cuts or no. All of those things are still in play, so we're still going to keep an eye on all of that stuff. Let's look at the this week's economic count. I mean, we talked a little bit about CPI already. We talked about PPI. I think the only big thing that we have coming out tomorrow is the initial jobless claim. So let's see how that's going to look like. Those numbers. We're actually seeing some Department of Education employees that's potentially going to get fired. They're going to lose their
mhm.
job. So it's like we're getting more and more people actually going to be falling into that unemployment status and stuff. So we'll see.
Well, the question though, every time I keep hearing about all these firings and stuff, is the question is, do they show up in the unemployment data? And so
Yeah.
far they haven't. Like
Yep.
unemployment has gone down. So will
Yep.
they show up in the data?
Yep. Yep.
Like
I'm starting to see some sectors kind of recovering like that. The tech sectors I'm seeing a lot of people hiring now. A lot of companies are hiring now.
mm,
So something is happening there, where a lot more jobs are being posted, a lot more people are being hired, and all this stuff. So
okay.
something's definitely changing there.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. But
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, I'm when I saw the 4.1% unemployment last report, I was shocked. I was shocked. I said, no way.
Somebody's playing with the numbers again, man.
Somebody's playing with the numbers again.
Would that be crazy though if they look at revision and like, yep, it's actually not that. That would spook the whole market, man. That would spook the whole market. But we shall see. But anyways, man, heading into next week, any last next week we're gonna have a special guest, Elena. She's the founder of Investing Bay. I mean,
Is
she's
that
been
next? Is that next week or this Friday?
this Friday. I'm sorry, this Friday. She's coming on. She's gonna be hosting the show with us and just gonna, chopping up with us and just gonna do what we do and all that stuff. But we're definitely looking forward to hosting her. It's gonna be great. So please, if you guys know anybody who wants to be a part of this and would be benefit for being on the show and be able to see us and all this stuff, please share that with them. But she's a really really great trader and a really really great investor also. And yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy the show when she comes on. But that's coming out this Friday. So
I want to also thank everybody that helped us get to 100 subscribers. So we
yes, we
are
passed
at
100, man. It was like
yeah,
101 or 102,
I
something
think
like
we're
that.
101 subscribers. So thank
Yep.
you for the support. We appreciate that. We're almost at 10,000 views as well.
Mm-hmm.
So slowly but surely
Getting there.
we're
Getting
getting
there.
there. So again, if you are someone who appreciates the information that we have provided, and I will keep hammering, we have provided some really, really good
Facts.
quality information that you can act on.
Facts.
So if you appreciate the information, like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Because again, I always say that, understanding capital markets is essential to survival,
Yep. Yep.
essential to
Yep.
survival. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man. Anything you want to share going into the end of the week? Anything you're looking at? Any advice you want to give?
I will say, if you're not in our trading group, let
Hey,
me,
you're
let me
missing
tell
out.
you. So I rebuilt my algorithm to find quality trade opportunities. And when I tell you that it is doing numbers, it has been doing numbers. So I'm going to give you a couple of names that you guys can go look at. So from last
Mhm.
week, go look at Futu, right?
Mhm.
Also look at Unity Software. Their symbol is U, right? They made another big move today. Look at Oklo, look
Oklo.
at Roku, look at Joby, and then look at ACHR.
Mhm.
All of these moves were signaled in our group. Oh, look at Boeing as well.
Boeing.
Boeing went from
Okay.
like 208 to like 230 in like 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Um, yeah, the algorithm is doing numbers right now. It is a very simple tool to use. No technical jargon, no complex chart strategies. Very simple. If you know what a
Simple.
call and put is, you'll do very well in our group.
There you go. That's all you got to focus on.
That's
That's
all you
it.
got to focus on.
Hmm.
We just put ourselves in positions. You know
Yep.
what a call is, you know what a put is. All we do is we put ourselves in position. So if you're looking to join a quality group that makes trading very simple, I have simplified the trading um, the trading method. It might even be too simple now, but yeah, join the group. Link is in the comments. So we look to see more members
Yep. Yep.
in the future.
And you know, we can't wait to have you guys on there for real. Because it's like I think there's something about being with a group of people and be able to kind of like, see other people talk, see other people's point of view and what they're looking at and all this different things. So trading is an individual trigger, right? Nobody gonna pull your finger and trigger it for you, but it's definitely good and it's a sport team. It's like, you have to be in the group, you have to understand how things move, able to kind of like talk to people, bounce ideas off of people. So we're not gonna do the trading for you, but you're welcome to ask any questions you want, in the trading group. So please make sure you guys join. With
Yeah,
that being said,
yeah.
you guys have a good night, and please, hopefully, you guys see you guys in the group. And yeah, don't forget to show up on Friday to be able to gonna link up with our guest host. And we're gonna be doing this a lot. We're gonna be bringing a lot more people out up in to guest to co-host with us and be able to kind of like talk to us and all this stuff. So definitely looking forward to bringing more people. But with that being said, man, yeah, have a good night. We will be back here on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. All right.
All right, everyone, take care. Have a great
All
night.
right. Peace.